Crow Tribe Conversations. This is yet another episode of the dear and valued contributors to NLWBC.org. That's North Lake Washington Business Connection. Today we have Marella Alejandrino. And I just like to say that because it's the beginning of a poem. But among the things that Marella is known for to me is that she is the most Kenmore person of all the members of the Crow Tribe, as we're called. She's got roots, legitimate roots in Kenmore. So before we start rambling on and me doing all the talking, I want this to be the Marella show, not the Brian show. So
thanks for having me, Brian. It's great to be here in your home studios. It's so lovely to be here. So, Kenmore is where I live and where I raised my family, and so it's we met. How many years ago was it that we?
Well, this was started in August. It'll be 6 years. Yeah. So you were somewhere within that first year.
Yeah,
you came into the flow.
Absolutely. So,
do you remember who introduced us?
We met at the Boswell Kenmore Chamber.
That's right.
That's what we did. Yeah. So
great organization. So
So
we have in dry runs before. There's an organization you're proudly, prominently, or affiliated with, and that is the Kenmore Heritage Society.
Yeah.
Talk a little about what is that?
Absolutely. So I've been on the board of the Kenmore Heritage Society since 2018. It was founded in 98, right after the city was incorporated, and I became president of the organization beginning of this year. So we do a lot of fun events with the city. We have our own events that we do. Every year we have a big award ceremony called the McMaster's ceremony, where we honor folks in Kenmore that do great things. We have a McMaster Award winner. We have an emerging leader that's usually a high school student, and then a business as well that have just been really over and above when it comes to donating their time and talent to the Kenmore community.
How are those people chosen? The student
nomination committee. So we put out nominations usually kind of in the fall, and like to kind of have those in by the end of the year, and then we have our ceremony in the spring. So we work with the schools primarily for the emerging leader.
I would bet for high school kids to come to a ceremony like that is probably
it's a lot of fun, and they actually get $500.
The kids get $500.
The kids get $500, and it's not even a scholarship. It's just $500, so they can use it for school or for whatever. So it tends to usually be a junior or senior.
Do those kids participate in the ceremony, or what's their?
Well, we have a lovely ceremony. We have food. We have wine.
No wine for kids.
No wine for the kids. That's true. We have non-alcoholic as well. But so we invite. They're able to invite their family and friends to the awards ceremony. So it's a lovely event. So we enjoy doing that. So it is a great thing. So
as president, so you've been involved with the Kenmore Heritage Society for some time, and this is your first year as a president. Is that right?
Yeah.
What's a president? Is that just you got to do a lot of heavy lifting?
Well, I have to. Yeah, we have board meetings once a month, and it's kind of the point of contact. I do a lot of meetings as president of the Kenmore Heritage Society with other, that kind of thing. Yeah. So, but I have a great board, and we all pitch in, so that's good.
I met some of these people out in the community, so that's one of those great organizations. A lot of us can get busy doing stuff, and it doesn't always feel like it's connective, and that seems like one of those things that's just a great connector.
Yeah, it is. And we, like I said, we just last week we had a booth at the city's Juneteenth event. We were there for opening day of the farmers market. We do Santa photos for the community in the wintertime. And so we do events throughout the year too. So it's a lot of fun to engage with the community.
We've talked about other things that Kenmore is known for. And there are a couple of, when I discovered Kenmore, through dating my now wife, and she drives through what was Brewery Row, and I thought, what was that? And I learned some things and found some things I really was intrigued with. Having been a guy who before that lived right in the heart of Seattle, and I was in the guts, and this was the country to me. But I'm really intrigued with some of the brand, the messaging that's urban, suburban, urban, something kind of they got some grit to it. Sometimes countries kind of, are you connected? Kenmore is interestingly connected. When I saw things like Kenmore Air, it's a prominent, that's kind of a big deal, a bigger deal than people would think. What's the hotel?
The Lodge at St. Edwards.
The Lodge at St. Edwards. There's a great story. There are things that you don't find in other places, and so you go to the northernmost point go to North Lake Washington and find some pretty great stuff. So, and it was so intriguing to me to then start living in a country that I wanted to basically mooch the identity of Kenmore, and that's where the crow came from because. Talk about the crows. Yeah,
the crows, they fly over Kenmore, Lake Forest Park, Kenmore. They roost in Bothell every night by the college there. So it's usually around dusk. You look up and you see large flocks of crows
flying over. But not in a creepy way. It's a fun way.
Yeah.
Some people, the movie, it's not like that. It's pretty great. And when I saw that, it reminded me of a great friend, like a brother, como hermano, from Costa Rica. And and there's monkeys, these little white-faced monkeys that look like a little Gracio man. And he was talking to me, he said, the monkeys, I think they go to work because in the morning they go this way, at night they're going the other way. So I think they work over there. Yeah. And I was remembering Scott telling me that story, like, so the crows go to work and then they come back. And anyway, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. And crows are just fun and clever and smart. So that was my intent to attach with that identity.
With the crow
lovely
tribe.
People like you. Yeah. Those of us who bring attention to the North Lake Washington area. Mm-hmm. And we've got people now in our group that are all over. I mean, it's going to be statewide probably at some point, so it's not limited to that, but that's our heartbeat. So let's not miss the fact that you're a professional and you're involved with this for a reason. And I want to bring some attention. We're going to go click over to, as my slides work, here we go to Marella Alejandrino Real Estate, morellashomes.com. So talk about why you're a realtor.
Absolutely.
And then what kind of realtor are you? Because everybody's a realtor, but you're special because...
Well, I've been a realtor for 14 years, and before that I was in banking for 20 and decided to make a change. I worked for Windermere Real Estate, and early on in my career, I decided I wanted to specialize in working with boomers and seniors when it's time to make a downsizing move. And so I have what's called the senior real estate specialist designation, and you take extra classes and that sort of thing to get that through the National Association of Realtors. But I have that designation, and I do a lot of networking with other organizations that work with seniors and their families and supporting them. And so my business has just really naturally navigated to working with that population and helping seniors and their family when someone's usually making their last move, whether it's the home that they've been in for 40 plus years and they're moving to a retirement community, or maybe they're moving to another state to be closer to, adult children and grandchildren. It's just my honor to help families with these types of moves, because there's a lot to juggle and a lot to think about, and a lot of times there's a lot of emotion attached to it as well. So they can be challenging. The idea is to make it as stress-free as possible for the family. Sometimes there's a lot of hand-holding, but it's really my honor to help families make these kinds of moves and to help make that transition as smooth as possible.
I honestly wasn't aware of that designation, that there was such a thing. But it makes sense as a way to help people. As you talk about seniors, I also think about, I'm going to be 65 in 2.5 months. Right. I'm a senior. And we tell the story, we think about people who need help going up and down the stairs. Well, Dawn and I built this place intending this to be the last one. Yeah. It's got big doors, and I jokingly, but kind of literally meant, in case we got to chase each other around with our wheelchairs, we can get them through the door. But I think of your designation, seniors people are living a long time. And people might be like me. Okay, this is the last home I don't intend to buy another home. We love this. Yeah. We love this neighborhood. But talk about, what is there such a thing as a typical senior, or how has that changed in the time you've been?
Not really, and I think too for most everyone, the idea is that what you want to age in place for as long as you can.
Yeah.
So I'm able to even help families that need a contractor to help with putting up grab bars and maybe a ramp or whatever, so they can stay. But sometimes it becomes it just gets to a point where it's no longer safe to be at home.
Sure.
And then, that makes sense then to maybe look at moving to, a retirement community or something like that.
So that's a non-real estate way that you help people because of those, people who do things like handrails and stuff. Even if you don't buy or sell a home,
right.
You've got a community of your own.
Absolutely.
You help people maybe just stay there, maybe not sell their house.
Well, yeah.
For instance.
I'm a resource. Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
You can see why we're proud to have her as part of the Crow Tribe, is what we say. So,
thanks,
and by the way, those who, what's Crow Tribe? Because some people get kind of unnerved by that, but because the name of the organization is kind of like Schwarzenegger. It's too hard to say. And we have a dear member who just started referring to us as the Crow Tribe, and well, that's easier to say. So, hey, crows, come together. We're going to do something. Where are the crows going to be? So, proud of that. That's fun stuff. So, we're going to keep this episode a little bit shorter because Marella's getting over the last of a cold. So
I am.
A little more
melodious than normal.
Yeah. That, as I ask a lot of people, what's the Marella-ism? What's something that you would like people to take with them when they think of Marella?
Well, I think a couple of things. I hope they. For me, it's all about giving back. So I've been a Rotarian for 20 years. I've been involved with other service organizations, and I get so much out of helping people. And, I think charitable giving in time or talent is great. And so to me, I hope that's what people think of when they think of me, that I'm caring and that I've given back, because I think it's important. And I think when you give back, you gain so much in return, right? I mean, when you are packing lunches for the homeless or whatever you're doing, right? You get more out of it than even the person that you're helping. So I think that's probably a good one.
I'll add to that because that spirit glows through you. I think that word glow comes to me just on this very moment, that we know what you do professionally, but you've been here. I've met Arnold and people, everybody I've met through you or whoever's standing next to you, they're giving you hugs and stuff. So the people around Marella really like her because she's so likable.
Thank you. Well, it's a great way to live life, right? I mean, it's just we talked about this earlier. It's like the older I get, the less I worry about things that I can't control, right? You don't sweat the small stuff, and so you become pretty good at determining what's important to you in life and what you care about, and that's all you worry about. So, and then I think you attract like-minded people when you do that. So
I hope you folks take this with you, as we've talked about, and it's we need to recognize there's plenty going on in the world that is upsetting and things to pay attention to. I say this to my clients quite regularly. My wife has heard me say this often, that no matter what's going on in the world, somebody's going to get pregnant or is already pregnant, or somebody needs to buy a house or sell a car or toilet paper or something. So we have a responsibility to pay attention to what's going on in the world, in the economy, look out for each other. I want people to learn how to listen to each other, get to know people, be curious about people like Marella who've got some history here, but people who are not like you. That is really kind of among the things that I want people is to, we don't have to agree in order to listen and learn and wonder, what is it like to be Marella? And that's the spirit of what I want the Crow Tribe Conversations to be, is to bring up what is it like to be you, and share that and invite people in to say, I'd like to go see the Kenmore Heritage Society. Where's Marella and stuff? So in the spirit of that, I'm going to come back to, where do you find this community? We're at nlwbc.org, the 5 letters that represent North Lake Washington Business Connection, where we cultivate professional and personal curiosity. What is it like? We're like crows. We have a good time. We're fun. We're curious. We like to solve problems. And people have different professional skill sets, but people who glow like Marella. We want to share that.
Oh, thank you. And it's all about community, right? I mean, it's what I love so much about the North Lake Washington Business Connection is we all have different professions, backgrounds, ages. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, it's really, we're a pretty eclectic group, but there's something that kind of keeps us together, and we enjoy our meetings together and getting together occasionally for a beer or whatever. But it's all about community, and you're the one that started the group, so kudos to you for bringing us all together.
Well, I started it when I discovered Kenmore, and I was intrigued in that concept. A lot of these things I wanted. I like the grit of a city, all kind of people. New York City is the center of the universe. We got this little town. I live in Kingston, and Kenmore, the other Canadian town. That there's some fun things going on where there's lots of other things going on. So come on and visit us sometimes. Go to the website, and we'll connect you to Marella and any of the other people, and we'll continue the conversation. So thank you, Marella.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Lovely time.
Yeah.
And everybody, we'll see you in the next episode of Crow Tribe Conversations.